What's going on, y'all? It's Icon back to do the review for The Flash and Black Lightning. We're going to get it started off with a little bit of The Flash. So The Flash starts with Iris and Barry telling the entire team about the crisis situation. You know, they talked about the monitor. Barry tells everybody that he spoke to Jay Garrick. Jay Garrick pushed his brain into the future, and he saw everyone's death. He saw everyone die, including Killer Frost. Killer Frost immediately gets up because she's pissed, because she's like, yo, I just got a life and I'm about to lose it in 7 weeks. You know, they're just like, Cisco and Ralph, they're just like, we got to do something about it. But Iris is like, yeah, but we'll worry about that tomorrow. For today, everybody do what y'all got to do and decompress. Barry's whole thing is he's like, listen, I got to get them prepared. But I got to get them prepared for the crisis. And I also got to get them prepared to protect the city once I'm gone. And since Killer Frost was the most emotional out of everybody, Barry was like, I'm going to start with her. So the entire Team Flash, everybody's split up, and this became a 3-part episode. This became like a 3-story episode. So for Barry's story, both he and Caitlin, Killer Frost, they end up, investigating a metahuman attack, because in the beginning of the episode, the guy that Dr. Ramsey was working on in the last episode, that one that like woke up out of the table and attacked him, he ended up like attacking a warehouse, and he stole dark matter. Barry and Caitlin, they were investigating the situation, and then when they found out dark matter was stolen, Killer Frost's whole thing was like, she's like, oh, Ramsey did it, because in the first episode Ramsey was asking her for dark matter. But the problem with Killer Frost is that, she's Killer Frost. Like, she doesn't understand. I mean, it's not that she doesn't understand. I guess she just doesn't care. She's very impulsive. So her whole thing is just like, we'll just torture them for the information and kick their ass. And Barry's whole thing is, if you're going to be one of the city's protectors when I'm gone, you just can't be rolling up on people because you think they did something wrong. So both Barry and Caitlin kind of went back and forth, and then, there was more than a few times where Caitlin kind of went off the rails. Barry had to check her. And then he was just like, I'm supposed to be mentoring you. Then she was like, well, you're a shitty mentor. And, then later on, they spoke, and she let him know. She was just like, I'm just scared, because she was like, I just got a chance to have a life, and I don't want to lose it. And I do like Killer Frost. It's like, do I miss Caitlin? Yes, but, I like having Killer Frost around. So anyway, so Caitlin, she rolls up on Ramsey because she's just like, he's the person that did it. Barry's just like, we got to give him a chance. Ramsey told Barry that he was like, listen, I can help you as far as like, saving lives. They bring him to Star Labs, and then Ramsey secretly tried to steal some dark matter from Star Labs behind Barry's back. Barry caught him. The two of them had a typical Flash conversation, and in which Ramsey told him, he was like, listen, my mom died because of this. And Barry was like, well, my mom died. And he was just like, but my mom, like, she didn't try to save herself. She just took it, and she just died like a coward. And, Barry gave him the you want to help people speech, then help people, like, help me save people now. And then Ramsey was like, fine, like, I help you. And then he ended up coming around towards the end. This whole thing between them isn't over, because now that he knows Caitlin is Killer Frost, he doesn't know yet that Barry is the Flash. But Ramsey helped him. But again, we're not done with the Ramsey situation. Allegra, who works for Iris for the Central City Citizen, she caught, she had video camera footage of the person who broke into the lab and stole, who broke into the lab and stole the dark matter. And then when she told Iris about it, and Iris saw that it was Wells, she told Allegra, she was like, listen, let's keep this under wraps. Don't say anything yet. Allegra thought that was weird, but then Iris was like, I got this. She was like, let me take care of it. So she goes and talks to Cisco. Her and Cisco roll up on the new Wells, and he's a militant guy. He's still a genius, but he's a militant guy, and his name is Nash Wells, like Harrison Nash Wells. So we're going to be calling him Nash. We're either going to be calling him Nash, we're going to be calling him Nash Wells for the entire season. Him and Cisco get into it. Cisco does the typical, he's like, yeah, buddy, I see how this works. Every year there's a new Wells. We hate each other, then we love each other. He's like, so let's just bring it in, like cut out the middleman. And come to, but this Wells, he's like, nah, like he's a little aggressive. He rolled up on Iris. Iris tased him, and she was, he was like, because he can sense like artifacts. Like his whole thing is, he sent like, like he can detect like, like rare things and artifacts and stuff, and he sells those things on the black market. His wrist communicator thing, he said that he was getting a reading off of Iris for something, And when he walked up to Iris to see what it is, Iris tased him. And because he asked her, he was like, "What's your name?" She tased him, and she was like, "That's Iris Weston. Don't you forget it, bitch." So, so they bring him back. So they wake him up. They bring him back to the Citizen. Wells gives him the speech. He tells him like who he. I missed the part where they said what Earth he was from. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that eventually. Allegra ends up so when Nash Wells ends up escaping from Cisco and Iris, he ends up using like this smoke bomb or whatever. Allegra was outside and she saw the entire thing. So she rolls up on Iris and she's like, "Listen, I didn't join your paper, to be lied to. I came here to report the news." My whole thing is, I'm like, first of all, you joined because it was either that or you were going to jail. Like, this is a work study program to get you out of prison. But but anyway, she just told Iris, she was just like, "Listen, if you're gonna lie and keep secrets, I don't want to work for a newspaper that that promotes lies." So then Iris was like, "Listen, I'll tell you everything that's going to happen. I just can't tell you now, but you got to trust me." So trust a two-way street. She's like, "Okay, fine. I'll trust you." And then, we'll wait and see, because she's a metahuman. And I mean, I don't see the harm in her. Like, I don't see the harm in Iris telling Allegra, "Hey, listen, I work with Star Labs and the Flash, and there's a multiverse." And like, the girl has superpowers, so I don't think like a multiverse theory. I don't think telling her about the multiverse would shock her. But but Iris has her reason, so we'll see how that plays out. Ralph and Cecile and Joe, they went through this storyline where Ralph's mom is back, and she got in trouble for allegedly stealing something from a pawn shop. And Ralph and Cecile decides to investigate. Joe was like, "Yo, I'm out." Joe's like, "I ain't getting into this." And the dynamic between Ralph, Cecile, and Ralph's mom, I thought was really cool. Come to find out that, they needed, like, Ralph's mom needed an alibi. And she told everybody that, "Listen, I wasn't at," like, she's like, because I guess like the robbery took place at 10 o'clock. And she was like, "Yes, I was at the pawn shop, but I was there around 9:30. I wasn't there at 10. So they were just like, "Well, where were you at 10? So they pull up some footage of a bar that she was at. And then it shows her outside talking to one of her ex-boyfriends. And then Ralph was like, "I know that guy. You told me he was dead." And then come to find out, her mom, like Ralph's mom, every guy that she's dated throughout her life, any man that got close to Ralph or got close to her, the mom always cut them loose. And she kept telling Ralph like these weird stories about what happened. She was telling them that they were all dying or like they were disappearing or whatever. She just never flat out told him like, "Listen, like I just broke it off with them." And Ralph's whole thing is like he didn't have a dad. And every time he tried to get close to somebody who could be a father figure, she pulled him, like the mom took him away. So Ralph was pissed and he was like, "Yo, get out of my office." And, the mom was upset, and Ralph's going to have some emotional healing to do like throughout this entire season. So in the end, he's a monster now. The test subject that Dr. Ramsey was using to test the blood samples on, the one that attacked him at the end of the last episode, like his blood is like mixed in with his, and then there's like the dark matter and everything. And because of like the blood connection, Ramsey because Ramsey can control him. Like the monster was searching for dark matter on behalf of Ramsey because that was Ramsey's like deepest desire, is for dark matter. He ends up coming to Ramsey at Star Labs, and then Ramsey does the whole mime thing, and then he's like, "Wow, like I can actually control this." He's like, so he realized in the end, when you fuse, contaminated like dark matter with like healthy blood, and you mix the whole thing together, he's like, it can cure his disease, but he can also control it. So now he needs more. Killer Frost and the Flash end up taking the monster down, and I guess like he blew up because like they infused him with every piece of dark matter that they had in Star Labs. The dude blew up, and because he blew up, Ramsey wasn't affected by him blowing up, so the connection isn't like, it's not like an emotional connection. It's just like once the connection dies, it's like once the person dies, then the connection is just broken, and there's no like lasting effect for that. So Ramsey's now looking for human trials to test his dark matter, pure blood controlling theory. For Ralph, in the end, he ends up having a conversation with his mom. His mom told him that, "Listen, the reason, your dad left us, you were devastated, and when I had boyfriends and they left, I didn't want you to feel that pain again, so I came up with some stories about why they were gone, so you wouldn't think they just abandoned us. Ralph ends up, forgiving his mom. He gives her like the book of Ralph on how to find love, and her mom was just like, listen, don't worry about me, find love for yourself. And because they're like throwing this at the wall, like obviously Ralph's gonna meet somebody at some point. That goes without saying. And I believe it's the woman that he was searching for, like in the first episode, that he spent the whole summer trying to find. So for Killer Frost, she ended up throwing herself a birthday party. She said that she's never had a birthday party. She's never tried all of Baskin Robbins' flavors, and her and Barry worked together. They developed trust to take down like the blood monster. So now she's gonna live it up. She's gonna go whitewater rafting, and they had a guest list where like the weird snake eye guy, was the DJ for her birthday party. And then she told Barry that, listen, she was like, every time you bring up the crisis, you never talk about yourself. And then he was just like, yeah. And then Iris rolls up and she's like, yeah, we got to tell the whole team. And then Barry and Iris tell the whole team that not only is the crisis coming early, but Barry has to die in order to save the multiverse. And there needs to be a point where Barry allegedly dying in the crossover, and what the hell is Oliver doing on Arrow? Like, there needs to be a connection here, because if the multiverse will be saved by Barry sacrificing himself, what is Oliver doing? Because Oliver's traveling the multiverse trying to do things for the Monitor. So we need like a good explanation for why all that's happening. And at the end, then it cuts back to Nash Wells, where, because again, he was searching for something the whole day. And what he was searching for, he said that he was getting he said that his tracking device was detecting what he was looking for from Iris, but then he also said it was strongest when they were in the alley where they first met him. He goes back to the alley, he opens a manhole cover, because I guess Iris was standing on the manhole cover. See, but then his wrist thingy was going off when they were at the Central City Citizen. So there's a connection between Iris and whatever the hell Nash is looking for. He opens a manhole cover, and then whatever he's looking for, he's like, I found it, it's here. So unless Killer Croc is in that, unless Killer Croc or Grodd is in that sewer, I have no idea what Nash is looking for. But hopefully we'll find out next week. All right, so we're here to talk about Black Lightning episode 3. We're up to episode 3 already, and this episode was very Odell heavy. Odell is basically putting a team together of extraordinary people, and he's not telling anybody, like the people that he recruits to the team, he's not letting them know about the other members of the team. First he rolls up on Jeff. He gives him a watch, and he's just like, we made this for you because, we have your DNA and blah, blah, blah. And, and he tells him actually, the watch that Odell gave Jeff, it's very similar to what Brainy gave Kara in Supergirl. So, the watch reads, it's, like it tells time, it reads his functions, this, that, and the third, but when he gives it some juice, there's nanotech that creates a suit for Jeff. Like, it creates like this whole big suit for him. So it's a brand new suit too. It actually looks pretty cool. It's not as bulky as the original suit. Like, it's more like sleek fitting. I don't know how Gamby's gonna feel about him having a new suit, but but we'll see how that conversation takes place. But Odell had an objective. He needed to. Dr. Chase is back. We find out that because what happens is the metahumans that they have on lock in the facility, they're getting sick. A lot of them are dying. We don't know how they're dying or why they're dying. Lynn finds out that there was a biological virus that when it gets airborne, it affects metahumans. The only two people she said that the chemical makeup that was involved in this virus is something that she's tested before, and the only other person that knows about this stuff is Dr. Chase. So Dr. Chase is working for the Markovians, and she created a virus for them to, I guess, kill metas that the Markovians can't get on their side. So Lynn's whole thing is to get a cure for the for the virus. So because of that, Odell's just like, yo, we got to swing in action. He tells Jefferson Pierce, he's like, listen, if you help me out, I'll let you and your wife go home. If you help us take out the people, take out the Markovians. So he just is like, some of our soldiers have been captured behind Markovian lines. I need you to put on this new suit and go get them. He puts on the new suit. He goes after them. He rescues the soldiers, but one of the soldiers says, listen, she was like, your mission wasn't to save us. Your mission was to get us out so then we can then go after Dr. Chase. So, Black Lightning, along with the soldiers, they go after Dr. Chase. They don't find Dr. Chase, but people were saved, and I guess that was, for them that was considered a win. So the second part of Odell's plan, he rolls up on Jennifer, and he lies to Jennifer and tells her that the Markovians killed Khalil's mom. And then he was like, we need to find out where they are, but, we can't see them, we can't find them, and you have specific skills, to where you can, you can help us out, you can knock down our communications. She's like, all right, as long as you don't tell my parents, it's cool. So Jen flies into action, she blows up the Markovian base, and then once she blows up the Markovian base, which is kind of cool, by the way, she blows up the base, and then after she blows up the base, she's just like, all right, fine, the base is destroyed. And then Odell's like, all right, cool. Now that you did that, we can, I guess what they were trying to do was they were trying to break into like the Markovians, like the Markovian servers or whatever, but they couldn't get into their systems because that tower base was blocking them. When Jen blew it up, they were able to get in. So then he was like, all right, cool. We did that. So, you're out. So we got so objective 1 was obtained, objective 2 was obtained, and he was like, we got the information that we needed. Plan 3 for Odell was to send Khalil. Khalil's back. We saw Khalil back. The boy knows they're basically like running down his his resume. The boy knows 23 forms of like different fighting combats, and it's almost like shit. He's almost like a cyborg. But the weird thing with Khalil is obviously there's going to be something off with him. And I still feel that when Jennifer and Khalil meet each other for the first time, his emotions will kick in, because Khalil is very he's very just like straightforward. He's just like very robotic. He's very, I'm just here to do the job and blah blah blah. But the weird thing about him is because they fed him a lot of information, like mental information, and he keeps reciting random facts. And I don't know if that means something or if it's just something that they just gave him to do as an acting choice. But him just reciting all these random facts, I feel like it's going to mean something at some point down the line. But we'll follow up on Khalil. So Khalil busts through. When Odell gets the address that he needed, Khalil busts through the house. He basically kills all the. I don't even know why he went in there. I guess the whole point of him going in there was just to kill Markovians. So because he didn't obtain anything, he didn't take anything. He just went in, killed everybody, and then he walked out. It reminded me of the dude from last season who can disappear and reappear that killed all those cops. I don't know if he's going to come back or not, but yeah, we'll see. So yeah, so and then I guess part 4 of Odell's plan was Lynn to cure the virus. There was supposed to be another part of his plan because one of the other people that Odell tried to recruit was Tobias Whale. He tried to fry his skin. He hit him with ultraviolet light, and he was like, because you don't got the pigmentation to block the sun, he basically like it roasted his skin, because he's albino. But Tobias basically said that he wasn't going to help Odell. He told Odell to kiss his ass, and Odell even promised him, he was just like, if you help me, I'll put you back on the streets and you can reclaim your territory. And I'm like, that's weird, because I'm like, you shouldn't just let him out of jail. I was surprised that Odell said that, because I didn't see the point in Odell just allowing him to go back out onto the streets unless he was lying to him and he didn't plan on actually doing it. Lala's out on the streets. He wasn't in this episode, but you can't, like, Lala's taken over, he's taken over the streets of Freeland. So if you let Tobias Whale out, that's going to be an awkward confrontation. But that's actually a prediction that will happen. But Tobias told Odell to kiss his ass, so Tobias didn't actually join his team. Later on, Odell came back to him and he was like, listen, the cards are still on the table if you want to do it. And then he was just like, yo, make me an offer that has zeros, fool, and then we'll talk. So he hasn't accepted yet. So, so we'll see. At the end of the episode for Tobias, he was basically hallucinating. And I don't think, and this was interesting. He kept seeing Black Lightning, and he was like, yeah, you ain't never gonna get out of here, fool, and I took you down. And like the ghost of Black Lightning is haunting Tobias Whale. And Tobias is just like, I'm gonna kill your black ass when I get out of here, which is probably what will make him spark the deal with Odell, just so he can get out and kill Black Lightning. But I don't know if that really, see, I don't know if those were hallucinations, or is that something Odell did to him, because the interesting thing, that Black Lightning, he was wearing the old suit. So I don't know, again, like, it was probably his body double, but I don't know if it's just like his self-conscious manifesting, or does Odell actually, or did Odell do that to him, and Odell's like making him see Black Lightning to try to force him to take the deal so he can get out and kill Black Lightning. But time will tell for that one. Henderson had a lot to do this episode. You know, he went to the cop who, like in the last episode, one of the cops got taken in by the ASA for suspicion of green light, which she was doing. Henderson rolled up on her and he was like, listen, you know, you could have told me. And she was like, no, I couldn't. And then she told him to go to a safe, to go to like her desk or something, get a key, go to a safe deposit box. And she was like, give the money to my family, because she knew she was going to die. And she did die, you know. So Henderson takes the money, gives the money to her family. The ASA tells Henderson he has to go under metahuman testing as well, which was weird because they didn't make Nissa do that. Maybe because she's a doctor. But yeah, I think there will be a moment where Nissa will have to be tested, and then it's going to be uncomfortable for everybody. Yeah, but Henderson actually, you know, and then there was like this old black woman that rolled up on Henderson, and she was like, you ain't doing shit with the police department, and, you know, she slapped him and took her anger out on him. It's not fair, because it's not Henderson's fault, you know, what's going on, but he's the chief of police, so, you know, they got to blame you got to blame somebody, and then he's basically going to be the fall guy. Nissa this episode, she didn't really do a lot. Like, her whole thing was, you know, she got screamed on by Jennifer for coming home late. She basically, like, Grace found her. Her and Grace had a conversation. You know, Blackbird is being hunted by the ASA. Her and Grace kind of patched things up. They had a whole conversation. Grace told her that, listen, like, you know, I'm a shapeshifter. You know, I'm tired of running. And then she was like, don't run, Grace. Just come back to me. So Grace and Nissa are together. But I thought it was awkward that Nissa never told her that she was Blackbird or Thunder, because Grace basically just spilled her guts out to you. She said she didn't want to be alone and she needed people that she could trust. You would think that telling her that you're a meta would make Grace feel a lot better, and you didn't do that. I don't know why you didn't do that, but you didn't do that. So Grace and Nissa will not last very long, because once Grace finds out that Nissa's a meta, she's going to be like, oh, I told you everything and you lied to me. That's exactly how that conversation's going to go. So I already see it coming. Nissa broke things up with the reporter who's clapping back, and I think she's going to find out that Nissa's Blackbird too. So, because there's really no reason for the reporter to be here anymore. So unless she's going to find out Nissa's secret, you know, like, this is probably going to be her last episode, but it's not, because she's here to report the clapback news. No Gamby this episode, which is kind of sad. You know, like, you know, I like to see Gamby, see what Gamby's up to. I just want to see Gamby's reaction to Jeff's new suit. You know, so that's my whole thing. And who knows, like, maybe Odell put something in the suit. You know, like, maybe there's some special tech in the suit where they can keep tabs on Jeff. You know, who knows? But Odell is definitely pulling the strings. So this was the Odell episode. So in the next episode, the guys are home now. Nissa. So Lynn and Jeff came home. Nobody was happy. I mean, everybody was happy, but anybody want to talk to him. Jeff was a little down because he was just like, well, shit, I've been, you know, I don't know, like, Jeff be getting a raw deal on this show. Like, everybody, I mean, I guess that's what happens when you live in a house full of women. I don't know, but I feel bad for Jeff. But hey, but, you know, he's out of the ASA, so as the old saying goes, Black Lightning's back, and he's gonna be out there. You know, he was like, thanks for the watch, bro, and, you know, in the next episode, I think we're gonna get Black Lightning. Thunder might be back too. Shit, hell, Jen as well. Like, maybe the next episode, like, the whole Pierce family, they're gonna be out there cleaning up the streets, you know, and they're gonna bring back Freeland. So that's my prediction. My prediction is that next week, Jeff, Thunder, and Lightning are gonna hit the streets of Freeland, and they're gonna start kicking names and taking it. I mean, kicking ass and taking names. So that was it. Black Lightning in the books. More stuff on the way. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, as always, you know I'm out.